I figured we'd just let that one speak for itself at the end of the video. We did a special editing run to make sure it was at the end of the last video, but heck, it was at the end of the video. Maybe not everybody made it to the end of the video, so we're going to put that full duration static fire here at the beginning of this one as well. It's time for another Starbase summary. Today's Sunday, May the 10th. It's Mother's Day, so if you haven't yet told your mother happy birthday, make a YouTube video, do some commentary, and tell her happy Mother's Day there. I think that counts. I think that gets you off the hook. Happy Mother's Day, DOS Mom. Kicking it off here in the video, we had a couple different angles of the static fire. This one's coming straight at us, it looks like. This view will be of limited utility during launch. I also did some commentary in the previous video if you missed those sorts of preparations. But here over the course of this one, we're trying to get through those final testing gates so that this Flight 12 launch date can firm up. We've seen some problems. They tried to get into a wet dress rehearsal and didn't quite work out. Made some changes to the tower. We'll have that coming up a little bit later in the video. But again, from all different angles, remember, if you want to listen to audio of these, you can go over to the little gear setting and change the audio track to Klingon. That will play you the ambient audio with no commentary. And sometimes it does take a little bit time. Wow, it's a traffic jam. No problem, just rush hour at Starbase. Look at that. Chopsticks coming back down after that static fire. But you can change the audio tracks back and forth, whichever way you want to do it. Apparently they were coming down, but they stopped part of the way down. And we're going to slowly lower them. We weren't happy with the operation of the chopsticks there, potentially. Then we're going to do a lot of looking at one of the skates. Remember, there's those big rails that sort of go up and down the tower. It's over there in the lower left, just below that yellow box to get it on your screen where you should be looking. And they're looking at that skate. It's the thing that sort of lets it slide up and down. You see that sort of rusty rail that goes vertically on the tower there. Didn't like something that was going on with that skate. So later that night, the Starbase Live cameras saw them completely remove that skate. They had to support the chopsticks different way, pull the entire skate off, drop it down, and then they got, I guess, a standby skate, a new skate. Did they make a skate? I'm not exactly sure. It looks like it's a little bit more complicated than they would have made in one night. But replacing it with a backup skate, or just a different skate, it looks like. Great crane arm positioning, but that's fine. It is what it is. And they got that back in there later today. So exactly what the problem was, we were not elucidated as to exactly what was going on with that thing. But whatever it was, they didn't like it enough such that they removed it and put a different one on, it looked like. Or repaired one, whatever it was. We also were working on getting Ship 39 rolled out here. So we've got the doors open there. Going to have to get that green line out of the way. But watching the ship actually get rolled around. Let's see how much of this we actually have. See, that's still attached to the lifting point there. And then it's coming around the corner, so didn't quite see it coming out of the bay there, but we scooted over this way to get it going around the back of Mega Bay 1. It's going to do a little turn here, come back towards the camera. The nose cone down at the bottom is that HLS Tiki Hut. I don't know what we want to call it these days, but we think that there's some... it's not a tiki bar inside. The building there we used to call the tiki bar, but it's sort of on the lawn of the tiki bar. Inside it might be like a mock-up of some HLF stuff. It's been there for quite some time, so it's probably a very long way from what it actually is going to turn out to be. I think I said HLF. What I meant was HLS in any event. So, roll around the side. Colleen getting lots of cool close-up shots here. This is down at the bottom part of the boost. You can see sort of where those raceways and I guess the stringers across the top there. Also have some pressurization lines attached there, it looks like. Those temporary lines to keep it. Oh, what does that say? There's a work order number, a part number, revision 1. Nice. Some SpaceX branded tape or something like that. There's like a test tile patch. Is that purple tape you get from Home Depot? It looks like it. That's on the leeward side, so the side that is not taking the direct force of reentry. Those tiles are sort of on the back side of the ship as it belly flops through. It's like an intersection point there, and the hatch access. That's actually the payload bay is what we're looking at. Up there at the top. Payload bay is closed. It's always, every now and then you get a super zoomed in shot like that, and you're like, what exactly am I looking at? I got to be looking at something, but what am I looking at? So here it looks like we're going to speed it up a little bit. Get it coming around the corner. Colleen was out there to catch all this for y'all. Say thanks to Colleen down in the comments, if you don't mind. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think those lighter colored tiles, some people were speculating they were missing tiles, but they actually look like they're flush to the surface. So the other tiles, are they sensor tiles or something like that? Let's see if we get another close-up here. Yeah, see that one there, it really does look like it's not an indention where there's a missing tile. It looks like another installed tile. There's a great shot of them. Those do look like they're sort of flush with the surface with not a big indention there. What do y'all think those are for? I'm curious. They're seemingly evenly spaced. Look at them going all the way up the side. It really looks to me like if I needed to install some sort of sensor there to catch the different heating, I guess, that happens on different parts of the ship, that might be a way to do it. And you sort of spread them out so you can create almost a map of the two sides of the ship and how the heating happens during reentry. Here we've got the chopsticks moving around again. That massive cable. We're just riding the chopsticks now. It's like an elevator. Hopping over here. We get the ship coming all the way over here. It's scooting all the way around. The sticks are moving. The ship's moving around. Because, of course, what we are getting ready for here is a full stack. Putting this whole thing together. When it's stacked, it's going to be the tallest rocket ever made. Beating out the last Starship. What is it? It's like a meter or so. It's not very much. But it is technically taller. The best kind of taller. It doesn't really work out if you say it that way. It's correct. It's technically correct that it's taller, which is the best kind of correct. Anyways, there were really, if y'all aren't following all of our social medias, there were some absolutely fantastic nighttime shots that came through here. We'll have some of the video here in this video, but please go out and check out Caesar, check out Colleen. Gage has been doing good work there. All the folks out there at Starbase getting those fantastically lit nighttime shots. They've got these big spotlights on it, and there was like a booster hot staging ring bat signal thing happening. Max is out there as well. Actually, Max, look at that. There you go. Max has come over from the Cape to support our Flight 12 operations there. You got cyber trucks driving around and all of these fantastic lightings. It really does look like the future. It's quite, I think the word fits. It's quite the vibe out there. But here we are starting halfway into the lift. You could tell because you can see in the bottom of the ship. It's not on the stand anymore. But this whole operation was just art. It was like the intersection of engineering and art. It's like these designs, this lighting, these technical greeblies and the arms, the way that the bracing and the triangles work, and things swing into position, and the fog of Boca Chica, right, down there at Starbase. Just everything sort of came together to make this a serious freaking vibe. So please go check out over on all the socials. We have it everywhere. They have their own accounts. We have our main NSF accounts. Let's put some links down in the comments or something like that. But it really was it was just producing all sorts of absolutely crazy shots, crazy content when they were doing this lift. In fact, we're just showing a bunch of different angles. You see they're inside the Raptor vacuum. The bells and the Raptor sea levels have the darker insides, the smaller bells on the inside. There's a great shot of them. There's your different things. But remember, the bottom of the ship, it's just a big empty space that those hang out in because the ship has to rest on top of the booster. A lot of times you'll have a hot staging ring. If you look at Falcon 9, or not a hot staging ring, sorry, you'll have like a payload ring, and those engines are exposed after the payload ring is separated. On Falcon 9, that actually stays on top of the booster. So you look at the second stage of Falcon 9, and it doesn't need to carry that sort of bottom part of the Falcon 9 second stage with it. Why? Well, the second stage of Falcon 9 isn't designed to survive re-entry, right? So here you keep that ring as a protective and structural element to help keep these engines protected when Starship is doing its re-entry, because it's not only the load-bearing bottom of the ship, it's actually there to protect those engines, because this whole thing is supposed to be fully reusable, unlike Falcon 9, which is only partially reusable, and I should say, unlike the Space Shuttle, which was only partially, I'll say, refurbishable. That's probably the fair way to say it. But here, all the different sensors and that sort of stuff coming together to get these aligned. I was watching this live. Let's see if we have it in there, because there was a brief pause There's a drone. This is a slightly different angle. Or they're moving this around. Okay, maybe it was just on the socials. There was one little thing where like a little piece fell out or something. And it must have not been important because they kept going. But I remember over on the main account, Chris had posted up this little highlighted instance of something coming out. And I'm pretty sure it was somewhere around that time frame. In any event, it must have not been a big deal, which it was like it didn't look like a wrench. It looked like somebody left something in there, then it got shaken loose. But this is just a whole operation. And again, this is the first time they have fully stacked the version 3 of the ship and booster. It is slightly taller. It's also the first time we've had a full stack on pad 2 there with the new design over at pad 2. So we're putting all sorts of plants in the way. We've got some prickly pear cactus. You can actually make food. You see those little bulbs on the cactus? They're going to turn red. They're going to ripen, and you can actually make like prickly pear jelly. And I'm not kidding. Anyways, squirrel. Somebody told me that I should say squirrel when I see some random thing that I comment in the video. Here's the transport stand moving away. This is time-lapsed because that guy couldn't teleport, I'm pretty sure. All the little adjustment steps, getting it all lined up, and plugging it in. It's interesting that that plate sort of turns a little bit. I wonder if it's making contact and pivoting like that, or if that's a commanded pivot, like it has a set of motors or something that can change that alignment a little bit. In any event, here on to the next day, they were attempting a wet dress rehearsal. And we saw them start to get everything spooled up. We were thinking they're going to do an entire set of filling of the tanks here, make sure that the ship is working, make sure that the booster's working, make sure the tower and the tank farm's working, making sure that all the connections are seated correctly. You're not leaking any hydrogen anywhere. In fact, I know they weren't leaking hydrogen. They're not trying to put hydrogen in the thing. That's an SLS thing because they used methane and oxygen on this one. That's the joke. Some venting from the ship QD arm, but before they really got into any substantial filling, they called the whole thing off. As much of a vibe as this is, something in the telemetry, something in the data they didn't like, so they did not go through with that entire wet dress rehearsal. How's that going to affect the flight date? It's reasonable that could push the flight date back a little bit. Remember, we're looking at the 15th right now. It seems like it could be reasonable that this could end up in the next week, the 18th through the 20th, whatever. But we will see. They need to get through that WDR. I appreciate y'all watching. As always, it's a Starbase summary. We just talked through what we see in the video, and we'll see you next time.